Morning class. Again, this is the second lesson in the spring quarter. Today is March the 10th, year of 2024. And the topic of this lesson is called Jairus' daughter and the bleeding woman. Now, there are some similarities in the two. So I need y'all to focus on what is comparing the two together. That's tying all this together. So today's aim, the facts, is to show how Jesus offered hope to Jairus and the woman with the hemorrhage of blood. The principle is to show that faith in Jesus is the only way to have true hope in the face of difficulties and death. And the application is to encourage students to see difficult situations as opportunities to trust in Jesus. Faith is the only way to get through any difficult situation. Amen. Faith is the only way to get through any impossible situation. So we look at life as some things is impossible for us, and some things are too difficult for us, some things are too large for us, and we shouldn't look at things like that, because anything that is done in this world, it was created by God. Anything that was done, it can be fixed and changed by God. So the only way that things will be changed through God is to have faith in God. Amen. So if you have a relationship with God and talking to God directly, asking God what you want of Him, what you desire of Him, as long as you have that connection and you have that faith in God, things can happen. Now we're here talking of two with illnesses. You have one, which is Jairus' daughter, and she is a 12-year-old girl, which in this culture, 12 years of age is an adult. 12 years, they can be wedded, they can be married, so they can have a husband at 12, but she is lying on a sick bed at 12 years old. And then you have this woman with the issue of blood who has had this problem for 12 long years. So you got the 12-year-old girl who is laying on a dying bed, and you also have this woman with the issue of blood who has been sick for 12 long years, which with the hemorrhage of blood, that means that they're constantly bleeding, which means that she is right at death's door, just like the little girl. And to let you see that God is capable of doing anything. As long as you have faith, you have to believe in everything that God has for you. You have to believe in it. Now, the first verse says, "And it came to pass that when Jesus was returned, the people gladly received him, for they were all waiting for him." When he returned, where did he come from? Where did he come from? It says when he returned. Where did he come from? I know y'all had y'all books for at least a week now. So where did he come from? Huh? Come on now, y'all had your books to study. No, that's where he ended up. He ended up in Capernaum. So where did he come from? There you go. On the southeast side of Galilee. That's where he came. He was over there with the Gadarenes, or the Gadarenes, however you pronounce it. But he was over there with them, and he did something that they was afraid of. And I'm going to just go ahead and tell you what it was, because I don't want y'all thinking too much. Well, anyway, what happened was he cast demons out and put them into swine. And the swines cast themselves out into a lake and killed themselves. And the people was afraid of what he has done and told him to leave, because they was afraid of the thing that he has just done. They was looking at this as being sorcerers. They thought that this man here, he had some powers that was just going to be bad for them. See, they didn't fully understand the power of God. They didn't understand the power of God. And And what happened was he cast them demons into the swine, and it says it was a multitude of demons in one. And they called themselves legion. So legion means many. So it wasn't just one. You can be possessed by more than one demon. Yeah. There's demons that tell you to do this and tell you to do that. There's many demons. And when he cast these demons out, and I want y'all to understand that it wasn't the man that walked up to Jesus when Jesus showed up. It was the demons. Because once they realized who that man was, they had no other choice but to give themselves away. So they walked up to him, and he says, "Who are you?" And he says, "Legion." And they asked, "Don't kill me. Cast me away into something else." And he put them into the swine, and which they went into the lake and drowned. So even the devil submits himself to God. So if the devil knows God's strength, why are we paying so much attention to the devil? The devil can't give us anything that God can. The devil has no power over us. We have more power over the devil, so why are we still listening to the devil? Only because he has things that we want stuck in our face. And see, God is not like that. God shows you what you could achieve. But in the middle of everything, after he showed you what you could achieve, he shows you what you have to do to get it. The devil doesn't do that. The devil gives you exactly what it is you wanted. Don't ask you to do anything for it. And see, because of that, you stop working for it. Because there's no need. You got it right there. The devil just going to give it to you. I ain't going to keep talking about that because I'm trying to get into this lesson. So the main thing that I was trying to get at was he came from the southwest side of Galilee, southeast side of Galilee, and these people ran him away. So where he came from, he was rejected. But yet where he's going, people are waiting to receive him. They are looking for him to come back. And while he's on his way, they're standing around. It's almost like a parade for just him. Like a big celebration for just him. Everybody is standing around waiting on him because they know his power. They know what he's about. Now, the thing about it is they know what he could do. But they're still not quite at the same understanding of this is the Messiah. I want y'all to understand that part. These people know that this man can do miracles. They know that he can do miraculous things. They know that he can change things. He can create things to happen. He can do a lot of things. He can take a problem and turn it to something good. They know that he can do these things. So most of the people that is sitting here waiting on him is only waiting for him to do another miracle. But then you got a few that's with the understanding of this is the Messiah. Just like many of us that go to church. Everybody that's in church don't fully understand or fully believe in God. A lot of them are still sitting there wondering how could this happen. I had a discussion with a guy. I'm not going to mention any names, but I had a discussion with a guy, and he says that he was having problems believing in God because there's too many gaps. I said, there's not gaps. I said, what it is you're finding a lot of leeway to try not to believe. You're trying to find a way to try to understand why God is in existence. You're trying to understand why you should believe in somebody that is so hard for a lot of people to not trust in. So it's not that there's gaps. The truth is right there in your face. But see, if you pay close attention to how things were done, God kept all of his things as secret. And the reason why is because he didn't want people following him based on what they saw him do. He wanted people following him based on what they believe in him. Not because they saw him do certain things. Because there's a lot of people that you would follow just because you saw them do certain things. If you saw somebody pull a rabbit out of the hat, and then you saw somebody pull $10 million out of that same hat, you're going to continue to follow that person because of the things that you saw them do. Not because you believe in them. But you see the potential. And see, a lot of these people was following Jesus because they saw things that he has done. Not per se that they believed in him. So it says here, and behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue. And he fell down at Jesus' feet and besought him that he would come into his house. Now, Jairus was a ruler. And the only reason why I stopped here is I want y'all to understand that this is a man of high power, a man of high stature. So I want you to understand that you are never too good for anything. You are never too big to ask for help. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs help. Everybody has to submit to somebody. As you see here, it says, and he fell down at Jesus' feet. Everybody have to submit to somebody. I don't care what your position is in life. I don't care who. You can be the president of the United States, but you still have to submit to somebody. Everybody have to submit to some. You cannot be that bullheaded and stand in front of anybody and act like you do not have to respect them. This whole thing about life is based on obedience and respect. If you don't have obedience or respect, then you can't get anything. You might force your way into taking things, but nothing is given to anybody who has no obedience and lack of respect. And Jairus right here was showing the respect that he have for this man. He was showing the respect that he have. Showing the fact that he submits himself enough to give leadway to Jesus. Because he knows that if anybody can do this, then it's Jesus. But see, there's some important things in this lesson that Jesus had to get out to a lot of them. I'm going to get to it. But it says here, for he had one only daughter, about 12 years of age, and she lay a dying. But as he went, the people thronged him. Thronged. What does that word thronged mean? What does it mean? Yes, they surrounded him. I mean, it was a crowd. It was like he couldn't go either way without bumping into anybody. Right. It was just a crowd all around him. So he was just walking in the midst of everybody. So his 12-year-old daughter is laying on her bed, dying. And as she lay on the bed dying, the only thing he can think of was, I has to find Jesus. I got to find Jesus because I want to save my daughter. Y'all know there's nothing that a father won't do for their daughters. There's nothing that a father won't do for their daughter. So this man is giving up all. He has just looked over the fact that he was the ruler. He says, forget the fact that I'm of high power and stature. He says, forget all of that because I need to find this man because I need help. So I don't care what people think about me after this. I need help. So he ran out, and the first thing he did was fell to his knees to Jesus. Somebody that nobody looked at as being important. He fell to Jesus' knees. Nobody wanted to hear anything that Jesus had to say. Those followers that Jesus had, they were few. They were few. He had a lot of people walking behind him, but he only had a few followers. I know y'all be reading a lot about this, about all the followers that Jesus had. You know, and there'd be a multitude of people following. But if you really read deep into it, you'll find out that the majority of them that was following him because of the things that he could do. That's it. That was it. Yeah. They wasn't following him because they believed that he was the Messiah. They was following him because of the things that they saw him do. And they wanted some of these benefits. See, a lot of people are stuck on you because of the benefits that you can offer. Not because they entrust in you. They're following you because they have seen what you have done for others and they want you to do the same for them. Most of them don't even like you. They're just following you because of what you can offer them. It says, and a woman having an issue of blood, also 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any. This woman spent every dollar she had. Every dime she had, she spent it trying to get help. And the only thing that was happening was she was getting worse. Nobody could help this woman with the issue of blood. She went to every doctor she could think of. Mm-hmm. And see, when you have an issue of blood like this woman here, they counts them as being unclean. So the place that she was in at this moment, she shouldn't even been. Because anybody, now you already saw that the people it was a whole bunch of people surrounding Jesus, which means it was tight. It was a tight fit. So if she was in the midst of any of these people, then she touched a lot of people, which means that everybody that she touched should be unclean. But nobody noticed that woman. Saying the reason nobody noticed that woman is because the problems that you have is only your problem. But everybody start talking about your problem. That's what makes it everybody else's problem. Because your problem belongs in somebody else's mouth, and then they put it in somebody else's mouth, and they put it in somebody else's mouth. So the thing is, everybody is now talking about your situation, when your situation ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. So because of that, nobody wants to be close to somebody that somebody else is talking bad about, not knowing what type of person you really are. But you're only bad because of he say, she say. So this woman, she done spent everything. But she came behind him and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood stanched. She came up behind him. Y'all pay attention to this now. See, you got to really listen to what was being written down in these scriptures. So what it said first was everybody thronged around Jesus. So there was no room for anybody to even get close to him. But she came up behind him and touched the hem of his garment. That's just let you know that there's no situation that you can ever be in that you can't talk to God. If you are having a bad situation, there's no reason why you can't go to God. Amen. Anybody can seek God's help if they seeking God's help. If you're not looking for God, is the only reason why you can't reach him. But if you are trying to reach God, I don't care what the situation is, you can reach God. God is reachable. This woman found a way to reach Jesus in all of that crowd. And the one thing that Jesus said was, who touched me? All these people bumping up against him, and he ain't paid none of that no attention, because he noticed that everybody that was standing around him, half of them didn't have faith in him. They just had belief that he could do certain things. They just knew that he could do certain things. They didn't have faith in him. So when they touched him, there was nothing happening there. Just like certain people you come in contact with, you start talking to certain people you can talk to, and you have nothing there. There's no connection. Or some people say there's no firecrackers or anything like that. There's nothing going on there. But then you can have conversations with certain people, and just the presence of some people make you feel some kind of way. Just knowing that you are in the same location as somebody else is make you feel some kind of way. You ain't even got to have a conversation with them. But just look across the room and you see certain people, it make you feel some kind of way. So when this certain spiritual connection touched Jesus, another spiritual connection happened. You know, just like when Mary was told that her cousin was pregnant with John, and she went to visit. When John the Baptist and Jesus came close in contact. Now, they wasn't even born yet. They were still in the womb. Matter of fact, Mary was just told that she was conceiving. Not conceived, but she was conceiving. Meaning Jesus had just placed the seed there. So there was nothing really there but the idea, the word, the spoken word that Jesus was in existence there. So once Mary came in contact, John the Baptist started jumping for joy in the womb. It was that spiritual connection. So the spiritual connection is what Jesus felt. And he felt what she believed come out of him. Because ultimately, everything that happens to you based on your faith in God. If you believe that God can do certain things for you, it can happen. But you got to have that faith and belief in God. It says, and Jesus said, who touched me? When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, Master, the multitude thronged thee and pressed thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? Look, all these people out here, how can you possibly just say somebody touched you? Everybody out here is touching you. But now you're saying somebody touched you? Look, Master, I touched you. John touched you. Everybody around you touched you. So how can you just point out one person and say, who touched me? See, now they're questioning God. See, look, they're followers. Now, they are faithful disciples of Jesus. They believe everything about Jesus. They believe in Jesus. They believe that he's the Messiah. They believe all this because they are his faithful few. But yet they still questioning his authority. We all going to have doubts. So look, don't hurt yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Because sometimes you're thinking in your head, I don't quite understand how this is possible. Look, you're going to think that because we're human. You're going to think that certain things just don't make certain sense to you. But it ain't going to never make sense to you. Because you're not God. The only thing that he really asks in us is to have faith in him. He don't expect for you to understand everything that he do. But he do expect for you to have faith in him. Certain things that God does, we look at it like, why did he do this? Why did he put me through this? Why did he put us through that? And the reason we talk like that is because we selfish. See, everybody look at certain funerals and say, why did my family have to go through this? If not your family, it would have been somebody else's family. See how selfish we act. Why did it have to be my family? But see, what you're not looking at is we're all family. Every loss is a loss for us. Every lost soul is a loss for us. Because we're all striving to get to the same location, the same place. So if we can't get to the same place together, then what are we doing for each other? We're supposed to be in this together. But yet we're looking at, why did God make us go through this? That's how we're thinking. We're so selfish when it comes to the things of God, God's nature. We are selfish. Says here, and Jesus said, somebody have touched me, for I perceive virtue is going out of me.
I like how NLT read it on 46 says, but Jesus said, somebody deliberately touched me, for I felt healing power go out from me.
And I'm glad you read it like that too. Because right here, when she said somebody deliberately touched me, it meaning that she did everything that she knew of to do to reach God. She didn't sit back and say, well, ain't nobody showed me how to do this. Ain't nobody taught me how to pray. Ain't nobody taught me how to talk to God. Ain't nobody showed me where God was. She went out and she sought God for herself. She wasn't looking for nobody to lead her that way. She says, look, I heard of a man that is possible and capable of doing these things. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do this. They says that he was a healing man. So even if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I know I'll be healed. Right. She did everything, even though she knew that if people was to know that she was unclean, they would cast her out. She still went amongst all these people to get to what she believed in. But then there's us. We only do so much for our beliefs. We believe that God is the Father of us. And we believe that when we make it out of this kingdom to the next kingdom, we're going to live forever. We believe in all of these things, but we don't believe in none of those things. And we're Christians. And we're trying to get those non-believers to come to our church. We're trying to get all these non-believers to come to our church and learn and understand who God is. But we can't do that because the things that we believe in, we don't truly believe in it. We're telling these people that God can do this and God can do that. But when these people see us out there in the street, we're trying to accomplish these things ourselves. We're stressed out ourselves. We're saying, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get this done. I don't know how that's going to happen. So we're showing them the lack of faith that we have in God. But instead, what we need to be doing is showing them how much faith we got in God. So when we run through problems, we do need to let them understand that we all go through problems. We need to let them understand that. We don't need to let them think that all Christian folks live good. We don't need to let them think that. We need to let them see that everybody live a bad life, because sometimes people just think that, well, I'm only living like this because I'm not in the church, and then they get in the church and they still living bad. And then they turn their way away from the church because now they're thinking that, well, it ain't got nothing to do with church. What am I missing? The thing that you're missing is the faith in God. That's what you're missing. You're missing the faith in God. And many of us church folks are missing the faith in God. I heard my cousin preach yesterday, and he was talking about the prodigal son and his brother. And it was talking about how when the prodigal son came back home, the father gave him all these gifts and gave him a party, and the brother got upset. Because the brother was like, look, I've been here the whole time, working by your side the whole time, and you didn't give me a party like this. Why did you give him a party? And see, the thing was, what he was trying to stress was, you don't have to be the one that left home to be the prodigal son. Sometimes the prodigal son is still at the house. Sometimes the one that always casting you out is right here in the church. Sometimes the one that's talking bad about you is sitting right here in your face. It ain't always the ones that's not in church. Sometimes it's the ones that's right here praising God, say amen this and amen that, are the ones that's talking bad about you. It's not necessarily the ones that haven't made it in the church yet. Sometimes some of them didn't make it in the church because of what's in the church. A lot of these people are not coming to church because they see devils walking out. And if devils are walking out of the church, why would they want to go up in there? And see, they shouldn't see devils coming out of the church. But devils are showing up there because the church is changing. The church is evolving into what society looks at. Not about what God is looking at anymore. Now everything is about a show. Everybody wants to put on a show now. Nobody wants to show God their true intentions. Everybody is trying to show the world what they can do. And see, it ain't got nothing to do with the world. God is looking for you to do what He needs you to do. Not for you to do what these people want you to do. Because what you're saying to gain their attention is not getting them back to Him. You're gaining their attention because you're telling them something that they always wanted to hear. Growing up, people have been telling them how bad they was. But now you can sit here in their face and tell them that they haven't done anything wrong. This is the way of life. This is how you're supposed to live because you're human. We're all going to make mistakes. Don't beat yourself down because you made a mistake. Look, everybody makes mistakes. We're all sinners. Like I said before, we was born of sin. That don't mean we have to sin. God gave us a choice to make. You know, a guy asked me, same guy I was talking about earlier, he says, if God is so great and He knew all things, why did He create somebody like the devil? And I responded to him and I told him, I said, because God is a just God. It says God created all things in everybody. And like all things in everybody, he gave everybody choices. And the devil made his choice. So with that choice that he made, the devil had to suffer his consequences. See, God, he's going to give you the choice. He's going to give you all of the life that he has for you. But he's also going to give you a choice to make. You can either keep that or you can make a wrong decision and lose it. God has already given us salvation. He has already given us eternal life. Now, how we spend that life depends on the choices that we make. If we make bad decisions, we're going to reap bad consequences. But if we follow God's law and make these good choices, then we're going to reap the plans that he already got for us. It says, and when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and falling down before him. She declared unto him before all the people for what cause she had touched him and how she was healed immediately. You know, and this is one of the reasons why Jesus always says, fear not. Don't ever be afraid to come and talk to God. Don't ever be afraid. See, he already know what your problems are. And the reason that she came and touched him, he didn't care. Jesus said the only thing he really worried about was her finding him. That's the only thing that he cared about. He don't want any of his children to be lost. And the fact that she went outside of her comfort zone just to reach him, that lets us all know that God is not too far from us either. Anybody can reach God if they want to reach God. Tell God how you feel. Tell God about your thoughts. Tell God about everything that you're dealing with. And after you tell God all of these things, leave it there. That's the most important thing. See, because after she was made healed, and it tells you right here that she fell down, which means she submitted herself to God, understood that God noticed her. See, saw that it says here that she noticed that she wasn't hid anymore. God noticed her. Out of all the people that was around, he noticed her. And she fell and told God about the reason why. And I like how he says it. It says, and he said unto her, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith have made thee whole. Mm-hmm. Many people is looking for God to reach down and fix that and go over here and fix this and go over here and fix that. But see, God right here plainly stated, if you need fixing, the only thing that you really need is to have that faith. Have faith in who he is and his abilities. And just by your faith alone, you are healed. Just by your faith. And that's what this whole lesson is really talking about. Your faith is what makes you healed. What's going on upstairs? What's going on in your heart? That's what makes you healed. You follow him because he's the way. Follow him. What he do is what you do. The life Jesus lived is the life you live. Treat people with all kindness and respect. But if you want to be healed, have faith in him and the things that he can do. Have faith. If you believe these things will happen, it will happen. Like I said, a lot of times things don't happen for you is because you don't have faith. Look, I don't make very much money, okay? And I have things coming up all the time. All the time I have things coming up. I just paid a light bill. I ain't going to tell nobody how much it was because people will think something. But I just paid a light bill and I was like, I ain't worried about it. It'll happen. Don't really see how it happening right now, but it'll happen. I know it'll happen. So I just went on about my business. I just kept doing what I've been doing and kept living like I've been living, kept talking to God like I talked to God. And when that date came up for it to get paid, it was in the bank. I just went on ahead and paid it. Because it's not what we can do. It's what God can do for us. And the only way that God will put things out there and in your possession is by you having a relationship with him.
Right.
Every one of my kids, every one of my daughters, my nephew, my nieces, my mother, my aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody, if I got it, y'all got it. But let me tell you how this works. If we don't ever have a relationship and you come to me asking for certain things, that's questions. Because we don't ever talk until you need something. And that's how most of us are with God. That's why God don't never just jump and do things for us, because we don't ever have a relationship with him until we run into trouble.
Right.
You have to have a relationship. You have to talk to God. Don't expect for God to jump and do things for you if you've never got up and did anything for him. My mother would tell you that's how I was. My mother would tell me back in the day, she says, why should I get up and do something for you when you ain't moved for me yet? It goes both ways.
Amen.
If you can't get up and move for God, why look for God to get up and move for you? You got to do something in order to get something. Faith without works is dead, always. While he yet spake, there cometh one from the ruler of the synagogue. Now this is how the devil works on certain people now. It says, there was a ruler of the synagogue's house, saying to him, thy daughter is dead. Trouble not the master. See, he's still acknowledging Jesus as the master. Still giving him that respect and authority. But he says, look here, don't worry about talking to him now. Your daughter dead. That's it. It's done. The only thing we can do now is just go back and bury her. She's dead. So now, if he would have lost faith in Jesus at that moment, if he would have lost that faith, his daughter would have been dead. But it's because of the faith. And that's what it says. But when Jesus heard it, he answered him saying, fear not, believe only. He's telling us everything that we need to do to get what we want. See, we're looking at this Bible like it don't make sense to nobody. But if you really read through the Bible, Jesus speaks to us plain and clear. He told him right here, believe only. Fear not, believe only. If there's anything that you want God to do for you, believe only. Believe in God. Believe that he will fix whatever problem you have in life. Believe it. And after you believe that, leave it with him. Nothing else that you need to do. Once you believe that God is going to do it, leave it with God. If God needs you to do something, he'll tell you. If God needs you to go out there and pick up a stick to get this job done, he'll tell you. Once you believe that God is going to fix your situation, leave it with God until he give you other instructions. If God don't tell you anything else, don't worry about it. Because once you start worrying and going in, well, it ain't done yet, I need to get this done, you're going to miss out. Because God is working. I have never seen a job get done by just thinking about it. Something has to happen. So let God do his job. God is working while you're worrying. And if you're worrying, now he got to pay more attention to what's going on with you. And less time working on what he need to do for you. Because you're working. Now he got to figure out what's going on with his child. Because anytime something is going on with the father's child, the father is hurt too. So the father can't concentrate on what he need to concentrate on because he's hurt. Because his child is hurt. So fear not and believe only in God. So then when he came into the house, he suffered no man to go in, save Peter and James and John and the father and the mother of the maiden. Jesus don't ever need an audience. If y'all pay close attention to all the miracles that he has done, where was his audience? Jesus never had an audience. Because when Jesus spoke, he always says he do none of these things for himself. Everything is done for his Father, not for him. He's not looking for an applause for anything. Many of us fail in life because we're looking for somebody's appreciation. We're looking for somebody to applaud us for doing certain things. That's why many of us fail in life. It don't matter how other people look at you. I don't care if you don't ever like me. I'm doing my job the way that God told me to do it, whether you like it or not. God is happy. And if God is happy, I'm okay. So if you got a problem with anything going on with me, you need to take that up with God. Because I ain't even feeling it. I ain't worried about it. I ain't going to have a conversation with you about it. I might try to talk to you and get you to understand what I'm going through. But as far as that conversation going back and forth, I'm just going to tell you to go talk to God. Because if there's certain things that you need to figure out and understand, God is the only one that can fix that for you. And all wept and bewailed her. But he said, weep not. She is not dead, but sleeping. Now, let me explain to you what's going on here. They have hired mourners. So when somebody dies, there's mourners that are paid. When I say mourners that are paid, I mean, you know how you go to a funeral and somebody hires like musicians to come and play and stuff like that. That's hired mourners, okay? So you have hired mourners. When somebody dies back in these times, a mourner has to be on hand. And they go and try to comfort the families. So these hired mourners are in there because they say this girl is dead. That's what they say. They say the girl is dead. That's nothing else anybody can do. Because what happened then was you die, the family come, they cry, and you bury it. All in one day. That's how it happened. All in one day. So when you lay down and you close your eyes, you have no more heartbeat. Everybody just say, well, they dead. Let's go ahead and do what we need to do and bury them and go on about our lives. But this was a father's only daughter. Of course, he's going to go above and beyond. He's going to go to the end of the world to seek whatever he need to seek to fix this problem. If he can't fix this problem, guarantee he would have died trying. Because that's a father's only daughter. Anybody understand what a father would do for their only child? Look, I would do anything for all of mine, and I got 3 daughters. Mm-hmm. This is a father's only. He have no more. This is it. He would have gone to death himself if that would have saved his daughter. So, of course, he's not going to lose faith in anything right now. This man, the only thing that he was striving for, bring my daughter back. That's the only thing that he had stuck in his heart. I want my daughter back. I know God can do it. Come on, I need you to bring my daughter back. Bring her back. So, and that's why he was stuck on. It says, and they laughed at him because he said she's not dead, she's sleeping. Now, everybody done went in there and observed her. Everybody done went and they checked out, done checked the pulse, her heart rate. They done checked all of this and saw that she had done started turning colors. They done checked all of these things. Mm-hmm. So they're laughing at us. Yeah, okay. Look, this girl dead. There ain't nothing you can say. You might try to make them feel better by saying that she's just sleeping. Just leave her alone. Let her stay here and just lay down until she just decay. But she's dead. They laughed, and he put them all out because they already got what they needed. This is all that Jesus needed right there. He just needed for somebody to look in there and see that she's dead. That's all he needed. So he got that confirmation. Everybody believed that this girl is dead. So they're no more help. They're useless now. So he done got what they needed out of them. Y'all leave. All right, y'all done saw that she's dead. Y'all leave. And he put them all out and took her by the hand and called, saying, Maid, rise. Nobody left in there but Peter, James, John, the mother, the father, and Jesus. That's it. Because he done threw everybody else out. These are the only ones in there. Now Jesus went up to the girl and she just grabbed her hand and said, Maid, get up. Come on, get up. Sleep time is over. Get up. So, and her spirit came again. So it's letting you know right there that she was dead. Her spirit left. Her spirit done left her body. She was dead. She was gone. But Jesus called and said, Spirit, come back. And the spirit came back to the girl. See, the spirit probably was upset a little bit because it was almost home. It saw paradise. It saw promised land. It said, yeah, there it go right there. And then Jesus said, nope, come back. Look, I know how we think as human. I know how we think when our loved ones die. We're looking at that body and we're sad because that body is what we fell in love with. That body is what we love. But see, you got to think about what's on the inside of this body. There's a soul that is in prison inside this body. And once that body say, hey, all right, I'm tired now, you can go on back. That spirit is happy to get back to where it's going. But see, once that spirit had to come back, it knew that its job wasn't done yet. So I got to go on back and finish doing what I need to do. Yeah. But see, it's also God letting you know that there's no task that is too difficult for him. You got this little girl who is 12 years old, also the woman with the issue of blood that has been sick for 12 years. Both have a 12-year comparison. So since the little girl has been born, this woman was sick. And at that same very time, they both was healed at 12 years. So I'm laying dying at 12 years old, and I've been dying for 12 years. And God just healed both. Both the impossible things that nobody could ever fix. God just showed you how much power he got. And at the same time, he left no witnesses. The only witnesses that he had was before. Says, look at her. Y'all see her. She's dead. You confirmed it. Now get out. Now he brought the girl back. And then he told them to give her something to eat. Just to let them see this is real. Says this girl been laying dying for all this time. She's definitely hungry. Give her something to eat, and that's going to verify that she is real. No, everything that I have just done, this is real. She's going to really eat this food. She's going to really wake up. She's going to really walk. She's going to really drink. Yeah. Nothing is pretend. And the part that gets me, that part that I find to be very interesting is the fact that he says her parents was astonished, but he charged them that they should tell no man what was done. Jesus don't need no applause. Jesus didn't look for no audience. And when he sent them other people out, Jesus didn't want them to know what it was he had to do to bring her back. All Jesus wants is for you to have faith and believe. That's it. Because had a lot of these people have seen exactly what Jesus did, then the followers that he had wouldn't have been believers. They would have just been somebody following him because of what they saw him do. And like I said before, people can see a lot of things and follow you just because of the things that they saw you do. That don't mean they like you. They're just following you because of what you can offer. And Jesus didn't want anybody following God based on what he can offer. He wanted them following God because of who he was. That's why you need to believe in God. Because of who he is. What he is capable of doing. And it's all about belief. Have faith in the unseen things. Believe in the things that is impossible. That's who God is. God is a man that is doing works of impossible things. Things that no man can do. Have faith and belief in that. Don't follow me just because you saw me turn water into wine. Don't follow me because you seen me pick up dry bones. Follow me because you heard somebody tell a story. Follow me because you know certain people are saved and they're going to paradise based on what I have told you to do. Because that's who Jesus is. Jesus is somebody that wants you to follow his heart, not follow his word. Follow who I am, not what I can do. Believe in me, not what I did. Money can accomplish a lot of things, but money can't gain respect. I can buy my mother as many houses and cars as she wants if I had the money, but that's not going to make her love me anymore. You got to have faith and belief in each other. If I have enough of faith that my mother is going to be who I believe her to be, and nothing more, that's all is needed. Have enough of faith in me to believe that I am going to be who you know me to be, and nothing more. I'm standing up here in church right now speaking who I am supposed to be. When you see me out there, that's who I'm supposed to be.
Amen.
Believe that. Don't believe what somebody told you about who I used to be back in the day, because I used to be certain things that nobody can imagine of back in the day. It's not about who I was. It's about who I am. That's what God wants you to look at. God wants you to stop focusing on people's past and focus on their future and their present. I know who you are, and I know where you could be. That's it. Who I used to be don't even exist no more.
That's it.
That changed. Even who you was yesterday, that don't exist no more. You cannot go back in time and change what you did yesterday. That is done. So just live for the now. I'm going to turn this over in the hands of the superintendent.